Hi guys, and welcome back for another video here at Ricky's Vape Spot. Today we'll be taking a look at the Goblin Mini V3 by Youth. So when the Goblin Mini V2 came out, it was actually a pretty popular tank, mainly given to its small size, the flavor and vapor production that it had. But it did have some downfalls to it. So today we'll be taking a look at the Goblin Mini V3, what issues they have resolved, and how everything's working together now. I did get the Goblin Mini V3 for the purposes of this review from mtmstore.eu, and you can go and check it out on their website. Right now I do have the single coil option installed. I actually installed it right away when I got it, mainly because I wanted to see how this one performs with a single coil, about the airflow, and is it good as a mouth to lung. And what I can say inside, I have a 24 gauge Canthal wire, around 5 reps on a 3mm screwdriver, and it's actually performing really nice. This is at 25 watts, 0.7 ohms. Pretty good. I'm gonna open up the airflow wide open. And this is set at 25 watts. I can probably go and put it higher. I have this one sitting on the 40 watts on the mini volt, kind of looking cute like this. So mini volt 40 watts. Pretty nice. So what we're gonna do now is first of all dive down to the table, have a closer look at what comes in the package, and later on we'll install the dual deck, put some Claptons inside and see how that one performs. So see you in a second. Okay guys, and we're here up close and personal with the Goblin Mini V3. I also have the extension cap, but we'll talk about this a little bit later. The Goblin Mini V3 comes in this nice plastic box. Once you open it up, here is the atomizer itself. We'll put this aside. Underneath we do have some extra goodies. So this is a bag of spare parts, some silicone rings, grub screws, positive pins, posts, and this spit back protection guard here. Also an extra glass tank. We do have this top Delrin drip tip top cap slash, and here is the dual deck. I actually was using the Goblin Mini V3, so I removed the dual deck. It comes with the dual deck installed, and I put in the single deck. And that's basically about it. Underneath, yes, that's it. Nothing more to show here. On the back of the packaging there's a short usage guide manual. Here on the side it says what the box is containing, and some warnings and disclaimers here. So first of all, let's take a look at the tank from top to bottom. Here we have the Goblin Mini V3. As you can see, on the top we do have a removable drip tip. This one can actually be replaced with the Delrin top cap, and what that does is basically it sits on top of the tank and actually helps you protect your mouth or lips from getting burned if this tank gets too hot. So this is definitely a good option, and I've been actually using it like this. Here's a top cap. We have a glass section here. The tank has a 2 milliliter capacity. On the bottom we do have juice flow control. If you can see this little drop here, and juice flow actually happens when the tank is sitting on the mod. I'll just throw it on here, and you can basically turn the whole tank. I don't know if you can see it here. You turn the tank to close and open the juice flow control, and this is all happening internally. You can't see anything, so you just have those indications here to see where your juice flow is at. And as well on the side here we do have minimum and maximum airflow control. It's hidden good enough so you won't accidentally open or close it. Let's screw that off and let's open it up. So you can actually get to your build deck while you still have juice inside the tank. Just hold it upside down. This is actually the single coil deck that I was using. It's a 5 reps, I think it's 26 gauge cancel wire. We'll replace this one today with the dual deck just to see how this works. So what I can say about the single deck is, since we only have one airflow here, and you can pretty much close it down not all the way, but you can get a pretty nice and tight draw out of it. So I think it's pretty comfortable to use for a mouth to lung hit, if you're into that. So right now let's just get rid of this deck. In order to change the decks, what we're gonna do is basically unscrew this post here, the center post, unscrew it, because this one actually goes right here in the middle. So you have to unscrew it. This is a gold plated pin, and then just take it out. And right now we'll take the dual post. It does have those little nipples coming out of here, which line up with the central holes here. So all you have to do basically is put it inside, and you don't have to worry about it not being lined up with the airflow or anything. So right now, let's just take the center pin, put it back inside, like so, and we got ourselves a dual deck. Pretty nice. I'll be installing some Clapton wires in a second. So right now let's just go back to the tank and we'll take a look at the extension tube. So the tank itself holds 2 mils of juice. The glass section comes apart like so. And this is actually the extension cap that comes as a separate purchase, if you're into that. And it looks like so. The tank does come in black and silver or stainless steel. So let's just put this together for a second and I'll show you what I mean. So the tank itself does have top fill, and in order to get to that, all we're gonna do is open the top cap. The V2 had actually a bottom fill with a little screw, and that was a really big pain in the ass. So, and here you can see we have large juice flow, large juice holes just to pour your liquid inside. And now to get back to the extension cap, all we gotta do is basically screw this part onto here, and we got ourselves an extended Goblin Mini V3 with a total juice capacity of 4 mils. I wouldn't consider it anymore as a small tank, but it is what it is. So if you don't mind the looks and you need an extra 2 mils of juice, I think this is definitely a way to go. So, but for today's purposes, we will replace that one. And I have to say the threading is pretty nice as well. You're kind of used to turning off the top cap, but it won't go all the way. You have to actually pull it out because those O-rings in here are holding tight to the center shaft here. Let's close this one down like so, and let's get to the build deck. So today we'll be installing a dual Clapton coil. Let me just get it on my device. Okay, I'll be using some pre-made coils by Coil Art Clapton 0.85, and we'll actually unscrew these screws here. The deck is actually pretty big and really nice and easy to use. Shouldn't have any problems with that. Loosen up the other side. Let's take some coils. And what you want to do basically is take the coil and then place it over the airflow hole, like so. But keep in mind that this chamber section has to fit over that, so you don't want your coils to be sticking out. Rather put them a little bit more in than out, just to have some clearance. And then basically just tighten your screws. And then the other side, and you don't have to worry, we can actually clean those builds up a little bit later. Let's take another coil, install it from this side, so, tighten it down. So as you can see, the deck is pretty easy to use and we do have a lot of space. It's easy. So, okay, like so. And we'll take our screwdriver and place this coils inside just to clean it up a little bit. And we actually got ourselves a nice Clapton build. Just take my tweezers and just put stitch it together. I think that's basically good enough. So, and those are the Claptons that we have installed. As you can see, I have them right above the airflow, looking pretty good. Let's test it out. This is coming out to 0.4 ohms resistance. Let me check if I can actually fire that one up. I think I'm gonna need some more power. I will take this one and put it on my VT75 Nano. This. Okay. So this one, is it lighting up? It is. Yep. Lighting up pretty nicely. Okay. So we'll take some wicket, and I'll show you how to place the wicks inside. So what I can say about wicking this is I actually didn't have any I heard some people were having problems with this atomizer kind of leaking on them. I haven't had any experience of leakage whatsoever with this one, and I was using it for about a week or so, and I never actually got anything to leak on me, even with filling it all the way up. So I'm not sure what that was about. Probably it's just about the way how you wick it. As I said, I haven't experienced any leakage whatsoever. So what I do, as with any dual coils, I'll just place the cotton through, get it nice and tight here. We need to get those wicks inside those channels here. But you basically just want them to sit on top of it, not push them all the way down. Otherwise you might get some nasty dry burns and hits. So what I do, I just cut them through to the edge of the atomizer, like so. All the way around. Okay, on this side too. Let's give it a nice haircut. Like so. I know it looks pretty messy, but it's gonna be okay. Don't worry. Now let's just check if they're nice and even. I think they are. Okay, so now what I do basically is just tuck them in on this side like this. This way. So what I do now is just like slightly tuck them into the sides here. If it's easier for you, you can basically get the cotton wet as well. But I like to keep it dry in the beginning because it stays nice and fluffy. And all you want to do basically is just make them, you know, tuck them in a little bit, not too much. Should be good. As I said, I haven't used the dual deck until now, so I'm pretty interested in how this one performs. The single coil deck was okay. As I said, you can get a nice mouth-to-lung experience out of it as well. It's not going to be as tight as a dedicated mouth-to-lung tank, but it's tight enough to get a nice restricted draw out of it. So as you can see, I've basically just slightly tucked and pushed it inside. Let's get this wick wet. Okay, and we have vapor. Take the chimney section and then just place it on top here. Screw it back together. Nice and tight. And then open the top cap. Of course you can, if you want to, also close the juice flow control just by holding the tank and then just turning it down. Let's fill this tank up. Put back the top cap and then open up the juice flow control. Airflow control is here. Okay, I think we're ready to go back to top and have a vape. So I really have to say, those dual Claptons inside the Goblin Mini V3, they're working pretty nicely. I like the flavor. Of course I have to give the coils and the wick to break in a little bit more, but I can't see any leaking. I don't get any dry hits, and I think the wicking is working pretty nicely. Let's try and close it off. I do have this at 40 watts. And you can get a nice mouth to lung hit out of it as well. But given the fact that I have dual Claptons inside, I would highly suggest to give it a little bit more airflow. Just in order for this build to shine. I think this is a really nice setup. It's small and it's perfect for those smaller mods, as you can see. And sitting on this VT75 Mini, I think this is a really nice combo right here. But what I have to say, I just filled it up a few minutes ago and the juice level is already down. So you can expect a pretty high juice consumption from this one. So if this is your go-to tank and you plan on going out or something, or taking a trip or a drive, I would maybe highly recommend you pick up one of these. And this is not really that expensive. It goes on the MTM store website for around 60 kunas, that's around 8 euros. Yeah, let's actually talk a little bit about the price point. On MTM store, the Goblin Mini V3 comes out to 36.99, so 37 euros, and the extension cap, as I said, is coming out to 8 euros or 8.23 euros. In Croatian kunas, that's 270 kunas for the tank itself and 60 kunas for the extension cap. So I think that's a pretty good price point for this tank. It does come in two different colors, in black and in silver. The decks are 16mm decks, so you have plenty of build space for that one. Some other pros would be definitely the top fill in the V3, because this was something that I never actually had the Goblin Mini V2. The atomizer itself was too fiddly for me. And this one, I think they did a really nice job, especially with the juice flow control. The airflow control is nice. We have top filling, and we get lots and lots of extra goodies with it. So about the pros, so we do have top fill, we do have removable drip tips, and this Delrin insulated top cap here to help you keep your mouth cool. We have juice flow control, airflow control, and this is working pretty nicely. The juice consumption is pretty high on this one, especially if you're using something like a dual Clapton build. And you might definitely want to get into this extension cap, especially if you're planning on using this for some longer periods of time, or if you're not able to refill your tank. Other than that, I think the flavor is pretty amazing. As I said, with the single coil deck, I just put in the dual coil decks. I don't know about that one, but with the single coil deck, I haven't experienced any leakage whatsoever. Even if I overfilled the tank and then screwed it back in, no leaking. The tank stayed dry. I didn't have any not even condensation building up. I think only time will tell how this one holds up to the test. So what I can say for my conclusion, that if you're looking for a smaller tank to put on some of your maybe smaller or mini mods, this one looks good on the Mini Volt as well, is that this one is a pretty good option. First of all, it's pretty cheap. You do get a whole variety of building options. You can use it as a mouth-to-lung tank or as a direct lung tank. Just be aware that the mouth-to-lung experience is definitely going to vary on the build that you put in. If you're using the single coil option, definitely go with a higher build, something like 1.3, 1.4 ohms with some 28 gauge wire, for example, and use it as a mouth to lung tank. Of course, using it like so will drastically decrease your juice consumption. But on the other hand, this tank can easily hold up with a dual coil as well. So I think it's a pretty versatile tank. Although it might not be my first option for a mouth to lung, you can do that. So let's have another vape. So that was about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this review. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would mean a lot to me. And you can also follow me on my Facebook page, my Instagram account, and my Twitter account. I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of the day. Let's keep on vaping, and I'll see you again pretty soon.